You're listening to Off-Road Garage Podcast, and here are Jason and Jim.
And we're live. Ish,
we're here. We're back.
Yeah, back in the garage.
Back in the garage. It's not cold. It's actually decent in here.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
It's comfortable.
Yeah.
It's that little short period of time when it's actually comfortable in here.
Yesterday would have been the day not to do it.
Yeah.
It was froze yesterday.
It was cold. Today's nice.
Yeah.
And I'm sure tomorrow will be like 120 degrees.
Yeah, probably. Good shift. Good swing.
Michigan.
It won't be 120 tomorrow. I want to plant my garden, so it'll be probably cold tomorrow.
Or 300.
Yeah.
All the sun's rays or none of them at all.
Since I've been making all that chile sauce,
Yeah.
I'm gonna grow all my own cilantro this year and all my own jalapenos and do it
Really?
do it from the ground.
Whoa, all natural,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
Dang.
I got little seed pods all over my house sprouting.
For those of you who don't know, he uses that special sauce as currency on these trips we've been adventuring on.
I always carry an extra jar.
I think it's surpassed toilet paper as far as currency goes.
Until you eat it, then you're like,
Then you're like, ooh, now all of a sudden toilet paper has now the highest currency.
Yeah, once some jalapenos get a hold of you.
It's good, though.
Yeah.
So, speaking of awesome trips,
Rad trips.
really rad trips
Yeah.
that we were gracious enough to be invited to.
Yeah, very thankful. I mean, we alluded to it on the show that we had something coming up when we really couldn't talk about it. We basically had like an NDA from the Fresh Coast guys.
We kept it on the down low.
Yep.
And
Because we've known since,
I think it surpassed expectations.
yeah, by far.
Yeah.
By far. We've known about this trip since January, February, I think.
I think so, yeah.
And we were invited by the guys Fresh Coast, Aaron and Paul.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, hey, we're doing this trip. We want you to be part of it, but we really can't tell you about it.
We can't give you any details.
Yeah.
You just have to agree to go, and it's going to be rad. We're like, okay.
It's like that movie. I can't tell you what's going to happen. We're going to hurt some people. I'm like, whose car do we take? That's exactly what it was. Like,
exactly what it was.
what
like
Jeep are we taking?
I guess. Well, that was a whole
That was the whole first part of it. We had big plans. Like,
huge plans.
Yeah. But
Which
thankfully, I'm glad they kind of fell through.
Yeah, me too. In a way.
So, you want to touch on the plans real quick? Just real briefly before you get too angry. Just
Before I get too angry, because I
give them a
still
snippet.
don't have it.
Just give them a snippet.
The idea was we were doing this huge trip to the UP. It was kind of all the details we had. It's going to be a huge trip, camping in between.
Yep.
I was like, well, that's awesome. I should be getting my new truck by then. So I was going to get a new F-150, 2021, totally kind of like redesigned, all fancied out. We were going to lift it.
Right. Because some of the partners from the run.
The partners on the run were interested in helping out with some parts. So
Right.
It was going to be lifted. It was going to get tires. We were looking at a bed rack and possibly slapping a rooftop 10 on it. And God knows what else would happen, right?
Whatever we get our hands
Would
on.
have been awesome. Semiconductor crisis. I still don't have my truck. So, wah, 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 which is good because I probably would have cried at some of those trails the way the branches lightly grazed the paint. So we ended up taking the ZJ.
Which was probably a smart idea.
Which I think ended up better.
Much.
In a way, yeah.
So I think the truck would have been cool for the partners. We'll talk about in a little bit. Like just the branding, being able to let them use their new stuff, try it out.
Yep.
But the ZJ is an eye catcher.
It stands out in the crowd.
Especially amongst JTs, JLs, and JKs.
Yeah.
So it was us in the ZJ and then Logan and Ken from Expedition Vehicles in the MJ.
Yep.
Everybody else had like a new rig.
The Comanche Man.
Comanche Man, shout out. Everybody else had like a pretty new, clean rig, and we were out there in basically the two ship boxes of the other group. And a wide-bodied ZJ on tons sticks out.
A little bit. Well, literally.
Yeah,
Almost
literally and
the width
figuratively.
of the road.
So I think that was a good choice in the
The
long
way
run.
it came together was much more comical too.
Right.
I really appreciate that.
Because we
And the help I got.
discussed like the wife's Colorado, which I'm
Yep.
glad we didn't take because she would murder me after the trails.
Oh, that would have been bad.
The TJ, which needs some love, and I'm glad we didn't take because it has no windows.
Again, not good.
Between the dust and the rain that we encountered, which we'll touch on.
The ride home would have been
Yeah.
especially wonderful.
Yep. My JK, which is fine. It's a running driving JK.
I was like, what was our plan B?
That was plan B to the ZJ.
Because
Yeah.
it's been on a few other trips, and it's your daily.
Yeah.
It's, kind of hard to abuse it for that.
Right, and it's one of those where if I would have known that we were taking it, I would have done some more maintenance to it prior, and I was running short on time. But it would have just been another JK on 37s to me. Yeah. Like, I love my Jeep, but it's a JK on 37s. It's pretty common. Yeah. A ZJ on 37s with leather and tons?
Dude. Balling.
Dude.
It's a limited.
I mean, if we would have had an AC charge.
I didn't think the Upper Peninsula of Michigan is not supposed to be 100 degrees this time of year.
May.
I was like, we're gonna have the heat on.
Yeah.
Dialed to a temperature. I like 68.
Yeah. Because it's limited.
Because it's limited. You set the temperature. You don't
just put it to red.
Yeah, you don't just put it to red or blue like a peasant. You set the freaking temperature, okay? And then the fan automatically comes on if it needs to be.
Right.
But the air conditioning tends to leak down after it's actually every other year I have to recharge it.
Okay.
So that ain't all bad. And at the last minute, I couldn't find my recharge kit. I'm sure I could probably find it now. It's probably sitting in
right there.
Probably. I wouldn't doubt it. I was like, you know what? I got to go. We're running out of time. There's no way I'm going to need air conditioning anyway. Now we're just being. So we skipped that and then desperately needed it.
We decided to take the ZJ. That was our decision. We're going to go with that.
Which, if you would have told me a year ago, like, hey, I got an idea. Let's drive your ZJ across the entire Upper Peninsula of Michigan. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Let's do like 450 miles in 2 days in the ZJ.
Okay.
Across the Mackinac Bridge.
Solid plan.
Yeah.
Who's the truck and trailer following us?
Yep.
But no, we did it.
It did well.
It did it.
I give it a C. I mean, it passed.
It did. We didn't die.
We did not.
So, yeah, it's a solid average.
Yeah. So, building up to it, you want to touch on the sponsors sent you goodies, or how do you want to go about that for the listeners to build a suspense?
We want to build a suspense. We'll talk about the sponsors later.
Okay.
We'll talk about them individually because I'd like to offer my input as to how they did, per product that we were assisted with.
So due to the indiscrepancies with us not having the truck, one of the partners is kind of like, well, okay.
It was a lot of last minute stuff.
Yeah,
like
so
literally the week we were leaving, parts were arriving.
You got the shocks, like Wednesday, and we were leaving like Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we could say it. Rancho was kind enough to provide me with some new shocks, which were desperately needed. Yeah. I would say.
For sure.
So they gave me some tried and true RS 5000s.
Right.
Nothing crazy, but I think they did well on the ZJ. Mm-hmm. They actually
had dampening.
I think they gave more than dampening. Anyone I think who's brave enough to send us any kind of product should know that we're going to give it a full testing.
Oh yeah.
And I can attest to the fact that they also probably work as bump stops as well.
Because there's no bumps in the ZJ.
No.
Except for the shocks.
Right.
Which we found at least twice that I can recall.
Oh, yeah.
Like
that we felt through our feet.
Full bump.
Oh, yeah.
Not only do we feel.
We put those shocks through the torture test.
But the guy behind us at the stop asked what we were running into because he heard him slamming.
Yeah. He came up to look to see if he could lend a hand and help with what was smashing.
Yeah.
And what we determined, because it was mutually agreed upon that it was the front shocks bottoming out.
Just hard.
And I believe it was Martin. He's like, why aren't you keeping up? I'm like, I don't got bump stops. He's like, man, I thought you liked to party. I was like, that's why I don't have bump stops.
But these brand new shocks are getting it.
They put them through the test, and I pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, they held up.
Yes, absolutely. Through, I would say, some hellacious abuse.
And they look vintage on there. They fit the 96.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a good vintage look we had going on because on top of that we had white wheels on it.
White wagon wheels.
Loaner white wagon wheels from our good friend the Dr.
Dr.
Deathwell, Expeditionary Vehicles over there. Loaned me a set of wheels because we got some new tires to try out. But,
so you ordered those tires.
Full discrepancy. I did.
Discrepancy or disclosure?
Disclosure. Sorry. Whatever you want to say. I don't know. I don't English well.
I don't English well. I love it.
wasn't full price, but I did pay some money for them.
Right.
They weren't free. It was kind of agreed upon that you don't get them for free, and then you can say whatever you want about them.
So we paid for them.
We'll talk about that a little bit later, but
you got some tires, which
I'm not mad.
Which went right to this doctor's shop or Expedition Vehicle shop. It's the same shop.
Yeah, shipped them right to him
to mount and balance
on his wheels
because we don't have any 8x170s here.
Yeah, because I run Ford Super Duty axles, so it's an 8-on-170 pattern. The smallest wheel size we could get in a 37 was a 17, which of course I don't have.
Right.
I have factory Ford 16s. What's up?
I'm just looking at all the sets of wheels we have laying around here, plus the ones at my house, and not one of them would work. We had 7 sets of wheels that would not work.
Yeah, but there's a set of 17-inch wheels, but they're a 6-lug pattern.
Right.
Because I bought those for the CJ project.
Right.
Yeah. So we had to do some, again, this was the week of.
Yeah, surprise.
Hey.
That's how we do.
Hey, do you got wheels? Yeah, I got wheels. Oh, they're 8-on-6.5. Oh, shit, I need 8-on. He's like, well, you could drill them out. I'm like, really?
Right.
Yeah, I could, but I ordered up a set of amazing Amazon wheel adapters.
Yeah.
They showed up, and then...
So the dock had 8-on-6.5, but at least they were 17s, and they had big enough hubs to clear the Super Duty lockouts.
Yeah, they were the original ones he ran on the Chief.
Right.
So they were already set up for 1-ton, axles, big enough hub. So I had to buy wheel adapters.
From Amazon.
Which meant I had to buy lug nuts because I run the factory Ford wheels, like I said, which are a different lug nut.
Right, the Ford, the tapered
flat,
one, yeah.
And I needed the Acorn, beveled style. So, anyway, ended up with Amazon adapters, Amazon lug nuts, borrowed wheels, and a sweet set of 37-inch brand new tires.
Right.
Yes. Put that all together. That's what we had going.
So we get all that stuff. We ended up coming over here the week before, and we got the ZJ set up because Midland sent us a radio to use. Mm-hmm. That was an
shout out to Midland for the micro mobile
MXT 275.
Yes.
All in the hand, all in the controls.
Dude, it's
which
awesome.
is super rad. So we put that on with new Ghost antenna.
Yeah.
The weekend before.
Which it comes with all that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna get a radio, that one's awesome. Especially if you want to kind of keep it low key, hide it.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, you could probably throw the mic in the glove box if you wired it right, and be out of the way and get it out when you need it. But
Sean's got his Sean, our friend of the JK, he's got his box mount on the firewall, so you can't even see his box.
Oh, that's awesome.
You put an extender on the mic and it hangs up by his column.
Yeah.
Can't see it. Great.
That's perfect.
So that was a great radio. It came with all the routing and the cables and the mounts, even a couple mounts for antennas.
I mean, it was ready to go right out of the box.
Right. No tuning.
Sometimes you get stuff, you'll buy a CB or whatever, and it doesn't come with the antenna, it doesn't come with the mounting. It's like, ugh. But no, I mean, I was so surprised to open it up and literally have everything. And multiple of everything, not just the one-size-fits-all gluey, sticky antenna.
Yep.
It was here's the stealth one, here's the badass one. I mean, it's awesome.
I got the 115, and mine only came with the magnet antenna. I bought the stealth antenna for mine.
Yeah.
Well, yours came with both, I think.
Yeah. Yep. Because I think we threw the one inside just in case, because we've had that issue before where a branch knocked it off and we needed another one. And
yeah.
So, no, that was awesome. Huge shout out to Midland. That was awesome.
So we mounted that up. We got your big, heavy swampers off that same day, and then put some roller 35s on that you had.
Yeah.
That had right bolt pattern but wrong rim size, so we couldn't use the rims.
Couldn't use those.
Because they were 16s.
You literally just bolted those on. I had to take tires off to put the shocks on.
Yeah.
So we threw those on there because, one, they felt like 100 pounds lighter than the Swampers. So I knew throwing those around in and out of the truck would be a lot lighter, and there's no sense lugging that weight around for no reason.
For no reason, to go to the expedition vehicles and pull them off.
And I knew at least one of those tires was good enough to use as a spare, and I knew that we didn't have room for a spare in the ZJ. But, we bartered some room, and Logan was able to slide that into the Comanche man himself was able to slide that in.
For a jar of chile.
Yeah, we had to bribe him with a jar of chile, and he was good to go.
It worked.
And it didn't weigh him down. You know what I mean? It wasn't, a massive.
Here's a 37-inch swamper on a steel wheel. Put that in the back.
Yeah. You blow your back out trying to lift the damn thing.
Right.
So
we got that all squared away. Then I had to go to work that week, and you got the shocks stuff put on your own.
Yep.
And then we were ready to go. So, Thursday morning, you came and got me.
Yep. Came and got you, headed to Ken's.
We left early, and I was really confused as to why we're leaving so early.
And then it all made sense.
And then it all made sense when I was like, oh, nothing's ready.
Yeah.
This is why we're leaving early.
Yeah, because we got up on the lift right away. Ken left a hoist open for us.
Right.
Tires came off, adapters go on, and then we realized that the factory studs are way longer than the adapters. So then we had to mark them all, cut them all.
So for our people that don't know what that would do, why is that a problem?
That tears up the threads.
No, what? So the fact that the studs are too long, they stuck past the adapters, so the wheel wouldn't sit flush.
The wheels, the loaner wheels, would no longer mate flush to the adapter.
To the mounting surface.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's an issue. So we had to cut all the studs down, which means we had to clean up all the threads and get that all to work. And then we put the new wheels and tires on. And, of course, the lug nuts that came from somewhere overseas, where they apparently chromed inside and out.
You gotta look good.
Which was fine if you put them on, but what we realized is when you take them off, the chrome unwinds from the inside like a giant piece of wire, and then thrashes the threads.
Gone.
So either renders the stud almost useless or the inside of the lug nut completely thrashed. So luckily we only learned that on one wheel, and we're able to collect a couple random lug nuts from the local tire store.
Yeah, they went next door to the tire shop at the shop and got some.
Luckily got a handful of some spares and some ones to replace the ones that we discovered. Some went back on no issue, but others not so much.
So if you guys saw our story prior to us leaving, I'm not sure who follows on Instagram, but there's a picture of Comanche Man Logan with a cutoff wheel
burning through studs.
Burning through 32 of your studs in order to make these new wheel adapters actually work.
Yep.
So this is like, we're leaving at 3. This is like 12:30.
Yeah, what should have took maybe an hour if we took our time is now
turning into, because we left my house at 8.
Yep.
So we're talking, it took us an hour to get there. We were there for like 2.5 hours, realized it's a problem.
Still got to get it down, still got to load them up on the truck. So,
So Logan hacks off all the lug nuts, all the studs.
Yep.
We try to clean them up with that thread cleaner dealie, that little thing on the end of the tool.
Yeah.
And that just mushed them worse.
Yeah, that didn't necessarily work as designed. I think it was a little more worn out than
And then, of course, Ken Sr. comes over after helping a customer and goes, "You guys are stupid," and like does some Ken Seniorism and fixes them all.
In the meantime, Ken's mom's giving us crap for doing things last minute.
Yep.
Which was awesome.
She fed us.
I love her. Yeah, she's awesome.
Yep.
She did feed us. It was good.
Yeah.
That was well needed
Yeah.
because the blood sugars were getting low, starting to get hangry.
A little hangry.
Yeah.
So Senior comes over and basically just like cleans up the thread with a file and then starts running lug nuts on.
I don't even know if he needed that. I think he used his thumbnail.
Yeah. He's like, just use a lug nut as a chaser.
It's so hard, and he just,
Yeah. He's like, just use a lug nut as a chaser. I'm like, what? And he's like, boop. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well.
Yeah. He just all of a sudden starts ripping them on. I'm like,
at one point he quotes Logan and says, nature's Loctite is cross-threading, and just starts running lug nuts on.
I know. I hope he did that for effect, but. So anyway, those were on, and then we were able to like get it on the trailers and get them all loaded up, and
with
two
that
Jeeps, one trailer,
yeah,
and Ken's
3500 Dodge Cummins. But with those new wheels and the spacers and them 37 12 and a halves, I didn't think it was going to fit on that trailer.
It almost, it was so wide it almost didn't fit on mine coming home.
Because she's thick. Yeah.
She's a thick girl.
She's thick. So we get it loaded up on the trailer. Comanche Man's Jeep gets on there. We put the ZJ on there. And Ken left to go do something with something.
He had like go pick up his kids from school.
Took
and run them
all the straps with him. So we couldn't even strap the trucks down. He comes back. He's like, why aren't they strapped down? I'm like, because you have the straps, friend.
They're right here. Yeah.
So then
get it all strapped down, which again was amazing.
And then north.
Yeah. It seemed like it didn't take us long to get there.
No, dude, we were moving out, jamming out, moving out.
A little truck stop action for connected to an Arby's for a little.
Shout out to the Arby's employees at the Gaylord exit because they were understaffed and overworked, and they still took care of us.
Yeah.
They were not thrilled to see the four of us walk in looking angry.
No, but it was delicious.
It was good.
Much needed.
Hit the hole because I was dying. The soup was good, but it did not really fill the hole.
Yeah.
So the sandwich was needed.
Yeah.
But hit Arby's and then motored north to the campground, right? Basically.
Yeah. Which, shout out to Ken for driving that huge truck and trailer combo.
Like a boss.
It's ridiculous how much road you have to take up when making a turn in that.
We get what,
You
a
almost have to go
45
across the intersection and then cut over.
45-foot gooseneck with 2 rigs on it?
Yeah.
Yeah. We had room for, probably TJ would have fit on it still.
Yeah, we probably could almost squeeze one more.
Yeah.
A tiny one. Yeah.
Pretty impressive. So we get to this spot, and Ken's like, oh, yeah, I got a buddy that said that we can use this spot to park the truck and trailer. We just got to find it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're
I
doing
guess
this.
it's
This is
your
what's
rig
happening.
getting impounded, I guess.
Yeah.
Like,
But it seemed like a legit spot.
yeah.
Plenty of RVs just there stored. So we hit it between a couple of them. And
Unloaded.
yeah.
And went down to the campsite and got ready for.
And we're greeted like champs rolling in.
Oh, well, dude, they see the ZJ and the MJ like literally thundering in.
Yeah. Making all sorts of noise. None of them good.
Yeah, pops, clanks, and rumbles, cracked headers. And they're like, who are the? It's like in Moab, like, who are these nut jobs and why are they in this thing?
Like, oh, God. You know, it's like that look of despair. Like, oh, these guys are going to slow us down. They're going to be broken down every other hour.
Here comes rolling tetanus.
Yeah. Comanche man's fenders barely holding on.
Yep. Holding on with that black spray paint, though, boy.
Black spray paint and some Off-Road Garage podcast vinyl.
Yeah. Got it.
It looked good.
Hell yeah, it did.
Little expeditionary vehicles in the back. Looked good.
So we roll in, and I mean, there was a lot of rad people there already. I mean,
Yeah.
most folks that were going to go, I think, left early Thursday morning and caravanned up.
Yeah.
Like,
Because they had
together.
dinner, like we missed the dinner.
Yeah.
It was a dinner at 5 that we unfortunately did not make because we were getting on the road.
And I guess shout out to Dixie Saloon in Mackinac City
Yeah.
for taking care of us because we were invited. We just didn't get to make it. But talking to PJ, it was rad.
I saw the video. It looked good.
They set a whole area aside for the expedition run. And it's XPDN2, so Expedition 2 is the run that we were on. They put a whole side aside for us, had extra staff there for us. Everybody said it was amazing, so shout out to them for taking care of us. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Really wish we could have made it to that, but
Adulting.
life happened.
Yeah, adulting.
Yeah.
Sinuses are getting me. I was cutting trees all day.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha. All right.
So, yeah, dude, we pull on the campsite, and that tent you got came in clutch because we sleep on the ground like peasants. We don't have a rooftop. But the pop-out tent was nice.
Yeah, it's one of those quick setup 60-second deals, and yeah, it does nice. It's
Yeah.
roomy inside too, because you're able to put 2 adult-sized cots in there.
Right. Still have room.
Yeah, room to maneuver, get changed in the morning, do your thing, and
And you're dry and warm and comfy.
yeah,
Everything that goes with it.
yeah. Next best thing to to one mounted atop your vehicle, I suppose. I haven't tried that life yet. I'd like to, but
I mean, there's some goods and some bads. I think like we were able to run into town and grab some stuff that first night without having to take everything apart.
True.
Which is pretty sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
take down the tent or whatever.
Yeah, fold it back up. But I mean, realistically, it doesn't take that long to fold it. I think the hardest part folding them, watching guys this weekend, was putting the cover back on it. That seemed like the most difficult
Yeah.
thing to do. So we get there and we're set up, we're ready to go, and it's basically driver's meeting time. We kind of walked around, outside everybody,
Yeah.
saw some old friends,
Yeah.
met some new friends.
Absolutely. Became friends throughout the weekend, which was awesome.
It's always good when you see, Matt Green walking around and said, oh, yeah, I had a bunch of ticks on me, but he's still wearing shorts and flip-flops.
I guess it's easier to find him that way.
Yeah, I suppose. And Mike Sipe from Rancho was like, dude, I had like 3 ticks on me already. I'm
I
like,
know.
oh.
I'm standing freaked out.
Right. And then when talking to Jeremy, he's like, I found a tick on me in my Jeep or my Tacoma on the way up here. I was like, bruh.
Bro, you're driving.
Yeah, like
What you got going on, bro?
clean your truck.
Yeah. Clean your truck, Jeremy.
What are you doing? So, yeah, I mean, it was cool. And it was a little, I don't want to say intimidating, but like intimidating because they're already set up. Like they all had their
Yeah, it was kind of like all eyes on you.
Yeah,
You
like
know, you're
they're-
setting up and you're like the last one at the party.
oh, yeah, because they're all watching the 2 mopes put up a tent. Like, can they do it? Like, you
Yeah,
know, like, who are
right?
these guys?
These guys just showed up.
Equipment just falling. We
In
didn't pack the ZJ for nothing.
No.
So open the doors and stuff's
No.
pouring out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a long lost relative that just shows up.
Yeah.
Nothing put together. Completely
Family vacation, Christmas vacation with the Griswolds.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's the equivalent. It's like we pulled up in that at like an RV park.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, God.
Here we are.
Here we are.
But everybody was super rad the first night. We kind of just did the meet and greet kind of situation. Spoke with everybody. Had an early drivers meeting the next day coming up.
Let's back up. The drivers meeting that night before, they handed out all the goodies and everything.
Yeah, swag for days.
Swag packs for days.
You get a hat on, I see.
Legit.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm not mad about it. Tire deflator. I mean, Milestar came through.
Oh.
I know. I threw it out
slipped it out there.
Yeah, they needed to know.
They needed to know. So, yeah, Milestar hooked it up. There was a driver's bag and a passenger's bag. There's different stuff in each, I think.
Yeah.
So you got like a tire deflator.
Yeah.
We both got like face shields for the Rona.
Yeah.
Which we probably should have wore for the dust in hindsight, but
I want to keep it clean.
Yeah. Stickers, keychains, this pretty rad shirt. It's got like a lighthouse on it and a moose and a tire.
Yeah.
A Patagonia, if you will. I can't see anything else. I think that's all that's on there.
It was rad.
It was rowdy. So they handed out all those, and it was kind of like the intro almost. Like, Jim, come on down. Everybody's like, okay, that's Jim. Okay, that's Jason. That's Cora. That's Eric.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Those
are the guys.
Yeah.
There's the people.
So
that was awesome.
Did that. And yeah, it was a good day, bro.
That's a huge thanks for that. Like, they don't have to do that stuff,
right?
But it means like it's awesome when they do. You feel like so special,
right?
And, like, they got your name like stickered on it.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, this isn't just a random like here
you go, dude. Yeah.
Here's a whistle. Like, no, here's like your pack, custom made for you, like all your size shirt and everything in there. Like that's rad.
That was rad. And then watched the sunset over the bay basically, and had a fire going. Checked out the Mackinac Bridge at night, which is always rad to see.
Yeah.
And then we were hanging out. What else did we do that night?
Went to bed because
wasn't that 1 a.m. fajitas night?
Yeah. I'm trying to make sure we don't. Yeah, the swag pack was Rancho, Milestar, and All Pro. Dude, you're really rocking it. There he is, Rancho, All Pro. Yeah, we get him.
Okay. That's why I wore it. I don't want to forget nobody.
Oh, you should turn around. You want me to just read it right now so we don't forget anyone?
Stand by. I'll turn around.
Stand by. This is how we operate. At the Milestar XPDN2 Upper Peninsula was Rancho, All Pro, Fresh Coast Offroad, Ace, Torq, and Trails Magazine.
And it's All Pro Offroad from Cali.
Can't say we forgot about you now.
All Pro Offroad from California is part of the Trail Gear family.
Oh, yeah.
And then Trails couldn't make it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But we sent them a bunch of photos, and I think
Michigan Overland unfortunately couldn't make it either.
Armin from All Pros sent a bunch of photos as well for them to use in their event, their next write-up, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure it was night we made fajitas, wasn't it?
Yeah, you made midnight fajitas.
Yeah, so we were talking crap
amazing.
and getting hungry.
That's when you make all the friends.
Yeah.
When that thing starts sizzling, like it was like the zombies started emerging from the tents.
They left.
A few people did.
Yeah.
They didn't. I think they were skeptical.
Yeah.
They knew drivers meeting came early.
Did you hear the one guy though? It cracked me up. He goes, one guy's like, "Hey man, what's happening right now?" And his buddy's like, "Bro, I think they're overlanding." Because out comes the scuttle.
Yeah.
And like
minutes, man.
Yeah.
Dude, shout out to you, dude. You got
that was Ken.
Midnight. You and Ken have like the scuttle midnight fajita thing like on wrap. All of a sudden, like the scuttle's getting put together, meat's frying. Like I think he's cooking that before the third leg's attached.
Yeah.
Like what the hell's going on?
Props to Ken though for like knowing his role. He's a breakfast cooker, right? Mm-hmm. So he sets up the scuttle and starts it and walks away. Yeah. And lets me do my thing. And I get the veggies going and some manteca, and I get the meat on there. And Martin,
it gets authentic.
Martin from Milestar is like, "What the hell's going on?" I'm like, "Bro, you said you wanted fajitas. I got fajitas. I got fresh chile." He's looking at me like a gringo can't make chile. I'm like, "Dude, I got my wife's Weller's recipe, dog. Like this is legit."
Yeah.
So I start whipping it up, and he's like, "What about fajita? What about tortillas?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, they're fresh. They came from the Mexican market." He's like, "What?" So I throw them on the scuttle. I start warming them up.
Here too, dude.
I'm toasting up the tortillas, and like, "Here you go, bro." And he's like, "These are bomb." I'm like, "Get some salsa, get some chile on there." He's like, "All right." And he puts it on there. He's like, "This is amazing." I'm like, "Yeah, this is what we do." Like,
yeah.
Welcome to the party. I got 10 pounds of this. Like,
every event now that we go to, I kind of just look forward to that.
Yeah. I'm gonna
So good.
I'm gonna break your heart when they bring like tofu or something. Like, yeah, what's up, bro? It fills a hole. You're like, leaving you here.
Dead to me.
Yeah. So 1 a.m. fajitas went down smooth, and then went to bed.
Yeah. Got up early.
Yeah. Fought the flies.
7 a.m. flies and seagulls that were like, I don't know, it was like seagull mate. What were they called? What was the official name of them? What are they called?
Oh,
Seagulls is the common name. Something herring or something, right?
yeah. He gave us like some really official
Anyway,
name
we'll
for
get
him.
to that later. But yeah, you're looking, it's like the Michigan bird. Apparently it was like seagull mating season next to our tent because I woke up with all sorts of animal noises and I'm like, please be animals.
Yeah, please just be a seagull. The European herring gull.
Yeah, they came over on a European boat. It's like it was like that, only repeated and angry.
Yeah. And they gave 0 Fs, bro.
No.
They were on our picnic table.
The
like,
one flipped me off and
Yeah.
like tried to take my wallet.
he's like all puffed up. What you gonna do about it?
What you gonna do?
So that's 7 a.m., bro. That came early.
It did, because
Yeah.
we didn't go to bed till like 1 a.m.
Yeah. But is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Part of the game.
Did we skip breakfast that day too, or did we have breakfast that day?
No, I feel like
We had
Ken-
breakfast. Yeah.
I feel like Ken was Johnny on the spot with the breakfast burritos.
Yeah, like
He can it's like you with the fajitas, dude. He can rip out.
he
a
loves some breakfast. Yeah,
burrito in about 12 seconds.
and it's delicious.
Yeah,
So
'cause
then
he
you got
gets-
to
he gets
experience
up early.
the fun of piloting the wobble, drop it like it's hot ZJ
Yeah,
across the Mighty Mac.
I thought we were gonna die multiple times.
Yep.
It wanted to go everywhere but straight.
Yep.
And then there's like grading on the bridge,
Uh-huh.
which in a normal car that drives well and is almost brand new, kind of makes you kind of unstable a little bit.
A little squirrely, yeah.
So I didn't feel any of that because I was already unstable.
Yeah. Yeah, so I wasn't.
I'm like, I think we have the tire size and the ground clearance to possibly pop over that guardrail.
Yeah, because the guardrail is
and
like
plummet to our death.
28 inches high.
Yeah.
We're on 37s.
Traveling about 35-ish miles an
Yeah.
hour.
I wasn't concerned really until you bumped the center, that raised part, and the
That was
truck.
fun,
then
wasn't
it like was.
Oh, yeah. The sidewall
Yeah.
grabbed it a little bit. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, hey,
And-
hey-oh.
I didn't do any Mackinac Bridge research. I know it's 5 miles long. I don't know how tall it is,
Enough to die.
but it's enough to think about it too. Like, really, Jay, you couldn't have gotten alignment on the way down, like thinking about like.
Yeah, so to sum it up, whatever issues I've probably had in the past were absorbed by giant heavy rubber tires. So when new shocks, and shocks that were probably seized up and really not really working as shocks, when the new shocks that functioned as shocks are supposed to go on, and then giant wheels and tires that are offset
Right.
go on
Right.
top of 1.5 adapters,
Right.
it tends to magnify issues.
Plus the wind gust on the bridge, which it's known for.
Right, to the point where if you're a big truck, just so those of you who don't know, this is a long suspension bridge, and you have to be escorted across.
On certain windy days, yeah.
On certain windy days, and sometimes they just close it. And if you want to go south or north, well, good luck. Wait till tomorrow when the weather changes.
So I just did a quick Google, and it's 155 foot from the roadbed to the water.
So that's 155 feet of us screaming
Yeah.
until death.
Yeah.
More
Yeah.
than enough time to realize the poor decisions that we had made.
Yeah.
To get us to the point of dying. And that's what I thought about. But we made it across. And then we
Into
kinda
God's country.
gathered up into town a little bit.
Yeah.
And then thankfully we got
Well,
off
no, we
road
got-
relatively quickly.
We
and
got off
aired
and
down.
it was like hammered down chaos for a little bit because everybody was trying to get off to that far right exit to get to where we were trying to go.
Yeah.
And then
Which
we
is good enough. It was kind of like turns.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing the Jeep wanted to do was turn.
it turned well.
It did.
Yeah.
It was the only time it was consistent. Was turning. So yeah, I got gathered up in town,
Yeah.
and then shortly after that, we were off road and we were aired down. Which after it was aired down, fine.
Yeah, way better.
Yeah, off road, no issues at all.
Yeah. All of the issues, let's just point this out, too. None of the issues that we occurred were part of the tire's problem.
No, had nothing to do with any of the parts. So
it was all the parts that were pre-existing are the issues. The worn-out links.
I think at the end of the day, what it comes down to, me and the good doctor.
No, you got a diagnosis.
Put some diagnosis together, and I believe the rear links on my suspension are so worn out, especially after that whole weekend. I think, what did you say? It was almost 400 some odd miles off-road. I think we did 200 that first day.
Yeah.
It finally killed off those links, and they're so worn out and bad that I was actually getting more or less rear steer.
Okay.
Because as we were driving, I could turn by accelerating, and I could turn by letting off the gas, and I could really turn by braking. So I think the rear end was shifting just enough to
angle the truck.
Yeah, give me a little bit of rear steer because it wasn't the front end.
Awesome.
The front end's pretty solid. The front end's got the hydraulic assist. So.
Right. Which, in a way, though, doesn't help because there's a little bit of delay there in the assist.
There's a little bit of delay, and there's a dead spot.
So you got a dead spot in the assist, and you got the rear end.
It's like a good amount of turn before you correct, and then a good amount of turn back, and so.
Plus the rear locker kicking in on and off, the rear limited slip when it bites or whatever.
We're a week out from when we went, and I'm pretty sure that video where the guy pops an apple in half with his hands. I got that all day long. After white knuckling for a whole entire weekend.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now I can. It's dangerous, bro. You can fucking get hurt.
Yeah. So it was legit. Up to that point, it was a lot of miles on the roadway.
Yeah.
That we were paying for, especially when, like you said, it got better in the curves, which was great.
Yeah, but that was only on the road.
Yeah.
And thankfully, we were off road a lot.
Yeah, thanks to Paul and Aaron, they did a lot of pre-running and made this event happen as far as finding stuff. And they hit me up once in a while, but I'm not going to take any credit for anything that they did.
Yeah.
Because he would ask me stuff like, they know I go to the UP a lot. And he'd send me a message, what do you think about this? And I'm like, well, dude, here's where I like to go. And he's like, well, you got any maps? I'm like, no, dude, I just go. I should probably get a GPS, start saving coordinates and stuff. But I just
all overlandy.
I just drive to these places, and I go there and I'm like, yeah, I found it, cool, and I check it off my list.
Yeah. Yeah, your GPS is like the sun setting.
Yeah, I know it goes east to west, and there we go. I find something on the map, and then I start zigzagging until I get close to it, and then I'm there.
Right.
So they were like, hey, what about this? What about this? And I'm like, yeah. Here's some photos of that spot. I've been there. It's rad.
When you get to a corner, there's going to be a tree to the left.
Yeah. It had red spray paint on it when I saw it last. Check that out. So they did a really good job.
There was a boat for sale on the corner last year when I was there.
And part of it was trying to just know where we were going because they wouldn't tell us anything.
Right.
We were guessing. I had a pretty good idea we're getting up in the first city that we ended up in the first day. Okay, cool. I get that. Just based on the timeline. But then, not knowing where we needed to be, if we had an issue, we could have broke off and fixed it and then met the group, but we didn't know where that group was going to be.
Right.
That was kind of a little bit nerve-wracking when there's that many rigs involved.
Yeah.
Especially not wanting to be the guy that, holds everybody up.
Yeah. So
day one brought us...
Well, the trail ride got a little interesting halfway through because we picked up a noise.
That's day two, isn't it?
No, that was the first day.
Was it?
Yeah, I think it was that long stretch of off-road trail.
Okay.
Remember, it was it's like snowmobile trail.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. We started getting that clanking sound. We're like, what the hell is that?
You're like, it's a rock on a rock.
I think it's just a rock stuck in the tread.
Don't think so.
I don't know.
Sounds
it's
metallic.
Weird. It sounds metallic, but it's rotationally based, which is weird.
Which is never good. Let's be real.
Why didn't I bring it out of the? It's still in the Jeep, I think.
Is it?
Yeah. I wish I'd have grabbed it. I'd show it to the camera. But
we kept it. We made a post about it.
Yeah, we'll post about it. So I picked up a snowmobile stud from the tracks they use for additional traction in the wintertime. Occasionally the tracks kick them out, and apparently I find them in the center of my
tires.
Brand new tire. So we called up and said, yeah, we got it. We have problems, which I'm sure the rest of the group is like, oh, of course.
Yeah.
The shit box has got problems. Go figure. But everyone's amazement was a snowmobile stud jammed right into the tire.
Yeah, and I jumped on the horn. I was like, hey, guys, get a flat tire back here. They were like, oh.
props to Martin, though. I don't know where he was in the line, but
First?
Martin from Milestar Tires was the first one there. Like, what just happened?
What did you do to my tires?
What just happened? Like, of course, it's you guys.
Yeah, of course. It's the guys I told to give me a review.
The most honest review you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And honestly, they don't stand up to snowmobile studs very well.
Full disclosure, they're not snowmobile stud. Yeah, you can kind of see it. It's full. Like, it went in there. And, I mean, thankfully, right, it's, those of you who don't know, snowmobile stud, it's basically a sharpened bolt about 1.5 inches long. And usually they have a carbide tip welded onto them. The carbide on that was gone, or it's at least still in my tire.
Yeah, one of the two.
But it the way they land, right, it's a big flat.
It's a big flat washer.
Washer basically on one end. So it just, sticks straight up and put a perfect puncture through my tire. Quickly, I got the plug kit out. I had it ready.
I'm actually watching the video right now.
Of me doing it?
Yeah.
Hit it with a quick little reamer, clean it out, and then, slopped a little rubber cement on the plug, which I like to do because I feel it works a little better, and then jammed her in, called her good. Didn't even lose a pound of air, I think.
I don't think so.
Good.
It was quick, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Martin brought the film guy back, and he's like, hey, walk him through it. I'm like, it's done. He goes, oh.
Well, it's like, how long do you want me to let this thing leak? Man?
Right.
It's not something you can do slow. Like, hold on, let me slowly. I'm like, no.
Somehow you managed to miss all the tread, and it went right through the tread blocks in the
right between them.
The valley of the tire, if you will.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a name for that, right into the carcass.
Right into the carcass of the
Carcass.
tire. Yeah, that was super exciting. I was super thrilled. I'm like, wow.
The funny part was, I think my favorite part, because it's me, when I jumped out, and you're like, yeah, it's probably a rock. I look down and I go, hey, bro, there's your problem. And you're like, what? I'm like, that? And you came walking around and went, really?
I was like, oh my God.
I'm just glad it didn't shoot out with any kind of force and take out somebody behind us, like Final Destination.
Well, yeah, it would have shot. Yeah, that was probably loud. It would have shot out, and then
got the back tire too.
Probably. That would have just and we would probably lost a little bit more of it.
Yeah, but it did well. I mean, it was like you said, it's nothing that I can fault the tire for.
No.
Short of having like a run flat, like it's not the tire's fault. And
the
funny part,
very few tires out there that are snowmobile stud resistant.
The funniest part to me was the fact that we were like number 9 in line, and we were the ones that got it.
Dude, how many tires covered that ground?
Well, not many, because you're 8 inches wider than everybody else is.
That's true. I'm not. We found that out later too, but we'll get there.
Yeah. So, I mean, quick repair there. I mean, took care of that real quick, and of course, at this point, Martin's like, "Dude, really?"
Traverse City. Cherry
Shout
whiskey.
out.
Delicious. Andy, you know what's up.
So, unless you're going through the photos right now, so we keep the timeline straight.
Okay, that's a good idea. I like that. Normally, a show would do this before they hit record, but that's not how we roll.
So then we 2-tracked along the Torq-Masters Falls Scenic Byway. The Torq-Masters Scenic Byway.
Is that what that was?
Apparently that's what it says on the map.
That was awesome.
I took a picture of.
Hell yeah. No,
So
that was good.
we did a lot of 2-tracking along that, like basically crisscrossing
I'm so thankful for that.
Yeah.
You know?
For what?
For being off-road like the 2-track as long as we did. Like,
Yep.
it was so awesome. Like, I don't think I've gone off-road in that duration of
Right.
a distance.
And just for the listeners, it's not like we were 4 low gears spinning. We were on fire roads, two tracks, scenic Michigan back roads. But it was
partially thankful because I'd look like Popeye right now.
right.
If we would have been on the highway the whole time.
So yeah, that brings us. We did all that the first day. It brings us over to. We actually made it to Torq-Masters Falls that day.
Yeah, which was awesome.
Great place. I've been there a bunch. I'm sure some people have not. The cool thing for me was seeing people who aren't from the area get to see what we have basically in our backyard.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's not. I don't think many people expect to see that kind of stuff.
Right. I mean, it's not Bridal Veil Falls height, anything crazy like South Africa, but it's it's a good little waterfall. It's the color of the water, the tannin. It looks like root beer flowing. From the tannin in the water. It's pretty cool. Check that out. Comanche Man saw his first waterfall. Like that was his first waterfall.
Every time we go somewhere with him, it's
Dude,
like
I love going places with him.
First times.
Because it's always like he looks at it and just like takes it in, and you can see him like it clicks. Like, this is my first waterfall I've ever seen. I'm like, dude, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, now he's like, now he wants to bring his friends and show them their first waterfall, which is super rad.
Yeah.
We had our friends in New York get to see it. The only kind of bummer to me is
guys from California, Colorado. Yeah.
I've been there a bunch,
Yeah.
and there's a bunch to see. I got kind of bummed out with like you got 30 minutes. I'm like, bro, it's a half-mile hike from here to there.
Yep.
So like, go down there, take your selfie, and then run back to your truck.
Yeah.
That was kind of the bummer, but
props to them. They put a lot in one day.
That was the day we did 225 miles the first day.
And saw a lot.
Yep.
Yeah. Really got hammered the first day, and I think that was intentional for them. Like, bam,
it's done.
Shock and awe.
Yeah.
And then it was.
Well, and they added some stuff because we were at Torq-Masters, and while we were there, they sent a guy to scout out Chris Point Lighthouse.
Yeah.
Which is another favorite place of mine because it's super secluded. It's an actual working lighthouse in Michigan, on Chris Point, which is north of Paradise and northwest of Paradise, Michigan. And it's it's a pretty substantial back road to get there. I mean, it's two-tracky.
I mean, there's some stories about people. Was it the two chicks who had to live on
Doritos and Girl Scout, or Cheetos and Girl Scout cookies
for a couple of days?
Yeah,
because they got stuck back there, and
so they were from like Nebraska, and they came out unprepared.
The trails going up there was car parts and things from people who thought that it was like a road, and it's kind of a little bit more than a road.
And this was good weather.
Yeah,
like the wife and I went out there in October of like last year, and it was rowdy. Like we were in her little Colorado.
Yeah.
And I was wishing we had something a little more substantial, like at least better tires. So we got highway tires on it.
Okay.
And I mean, it's 4-wheel drive, so it wasn't like we weren't going to make it. But a couple of spots where it starts to flood,
yeah,
you're in some stuff.
Yeah.
So thankfully for us, it was, I guess not thankfully for us, but it was dry.
Yeah.
All the rigs we had would have made it in its worst condition, except for maybe snow.
Right.
Because every year somebody gets stuck trying to get back there in the snow.
Right.
So we went back there, and it's a beautiful lighthouse on Lake Superior, and you can usually see freighters in the distance doing their freighter stuff, and you can go up and down the lighthouse, check it out, and it's pretty rad. That was the first day that we got exposed to that that dust.
Yeah, we ate a lot. We ate some dust, but it was cool enough where we didn't have to have the windows all the way down, and I think we survived a little bit. But our boys at Ace,
yeah, left the top half of their doors somewhere.
That was looked rough, man. I was like, "Ooh, we were so close to that."
He reminded me of the old motocross movies where like the guy had the goggles mark,
yes.
you know?
Yes, like the old Baja films and stuff. They just pulled their or like the old dirt track NASCAR.
Yeah,
you know? Pull the goggles down, just caked.
That Jeep, that JL they had gorgeous. 300 miles when they left.
That was a nice Jeep,
and it will never be clean again.
Yeah, those guys.
Yeah,
that was an awesome looking Jeep.
Very well built, and of course they had factory Jeep soft half doors on it with soft top uppers, and they pulled the uppers off to experience Michigan, and then they did.
Yeah. The Ace Engineering Fab Jeep was awesome.
Yeah.
Shout out to those guys. They do some good stuff.
Yeah. So that was Chris Point Lighthouse was that, and then we started working our way towards Munising.
Yep.
Which was going to be our spot to stay for the night. We didn't know that yet, but that was going to be the spot to stay. I don't think there's any more stops between Chris Point and
no, we had those day 2. Yeah, we had kind of feed it to the campground.
We got some more 2-tracking in, and a lot of it was one of the muddy days. We got a bunch of the mud photos.
Yeah, and that's kind of escalated quick, and I thought it was pretty cool.
Yep,
because it was some legit mud.
Yeah, for sure. And that was all 2-tracking along through like the Deer Park area. South. We cut through Grand Marais, which is where that Pickle Barrel building was at, the pickle store. We were actually on H58 for a little bit, which is the Grand Marais truck trail. And then we went back towards Munising that way. And that's when we started to panic a little bit because everybody's gas lights were banging. And like we were talking like 6-8 miles to empty, and we had like 30 miles to go. And
yeah, I was kind of add a little adventure to it. And again, the Midland comms came in clutch. We're talking to everyone and keeping it line of communication the whole trip.
Poor Aaron, dude. He about had an aneurysm.
Whoa. Don't mind that.
That was a shout out to Midland, apparently.
Yeah. Okay. So my phone's connected.
Disregard that.
Disregard that.
Aaron about had an aneurysm because she's like, bro, I didn't plan a gas stop yet. And we're like, well,
Yeah.
we're not going to make it. And then we started trying to dole out who had what for fuel. We had a Rotopax with us that was empty
Yeah.
because we didn't think to fill it up.
Because we're like, there's gas stations. It's not
Right.
that bad. You know.
So we're able to find a gas station relatively close to where we needed to be over in Seney. And we just bombed to Seney and filled up everything that we could.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah.
We literally were down in the southeast for a minute, like filling up everything we could with gas. Like, put gas in everything.
Oh, I think there's what was it? Adam and Nick from Ace were actually using their Rotopack to fill up their Jeep.
Yep.
With a diesel.
So got that taken care of, and then we think we're going to go to the campsite, right?
Yeah.
But no, there's a surprise in order.
Nope.
So we were bombing like 20 built rigs through Munising, right through the center of town, and we come towards the other side of town near the outskirts, and we pull off and like pull into this park. And I'm like, okay. They had dinner set out for us.
Which was?
Pasties.
Which was actually my first one.
Really?
Yeah, I've never had one before.
Really? What'd you think?
That was good.
Did you try it with ketchup and gravy, or how'd you have it?
The way it came.
Okay. Oh, because there's like a thing, right, where
Yeah.
you do like some guys like ketchup, some guys
Okay.
like gravy, and it's kind of like a what's your preference
Okay.
kind of thing.
I could see that. I didn't think it needed anything. I thought they
Okay.
were delicious the way it was.
Okay, I'm a ketchup guy. Put ketchup in mine.
I could see that. I could see the
Yeah.
way it's based.
Yeah,
I could go
it's,
either way.
If you haven't had a pasty, it's basically like a chicken pot pie, but with beef, and it's almost like a hot pocket or a calzone, where it's all rolled up.
Yeah.
It's delicious. It's like an empanada. If you're familiar with those at all, like
Right.
try to throw it out
Yeah.
there. It's usually beef, potatoes, and rutabaga and gravy in a thing, and you eat it, and it's delicious. I loved it.
Yeah, it's the only way to describe it.
Yep. We found out there we were by this boat ride that we were going to take called Riptide Rides,
Yep.
which was super rowdy. We're all getting ready to go and like go sign the waiver. I'm picturing like a scenic, like pontoon boat ride.
Yeah, that's
For,
kind of
like,
what I figured it was
sunset
going to be.
cruise.
It's going to be a little, you know.
Until we get like the you're going to get wet briefing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, huh? And then we get to the boat, and Captain Tim starts playing like Van Halen. And I was like, okay, well, this isn't like a scenic, beautiful.
You didn't pick that up when he said it's 40 foot long? And
That was when we got to the boat. He said that. Like up to that point, I was like, okay, it's a boat,
yeah,
like
yeah.
whatever. And we sit down on the boat. He goes, this is a 40-foot long, 1,600 horsepower jet turbine boat. And I was like, damn.
yeah, it's basically a jet ski that's 40 feet long and seats 40 of your friends.
Yeah, yeah. And he goes,
Likes to party.
then he starts backing out and goes, oh, by the way, we'll be pulling 360s here shortly. I was like,
You're like, this is like a freighter.
yeah, I'm like,
You know?
excuse me?
I don't understand what you're talking about.
Sure as hell when Captain Tim says hold on, I would hold on.
Oh, yeah. When you have to put a seatbelt on a boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he says put the big guys on the outside because they're going to get smushed.
Yeah. Yeah, because of the G-forces. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
legit. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he's all about
Or
partying.
Or you get a big tidal wave of water, Aaron.
Yeah. Sorry,
Multiple
buddy.
times, Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron. And they wanted to get us wet so bad, bro.
They tried.
Yeah, they tried. He tried hard.
They tried, but
So, and I guess while we're on
Wasn't meant
that,
to
thank yous. Thanks to Riptide Ride for that because they actually opened up a week early
Yes.
for us.
if you ever have the chance, it is 100% worth the money.
It's right there in Munising. It's called Riptide Ride. Amazing views and ultimate fun. RiptideRide.com.
Oh, .com.
I took a picture of the signs. I didn't forget about it.
I love it.
Check them out. Tell them the Offroad Garage podcast guy sent you. I don't think they'll get you anything, but it'd be nice to know that we love them.
It really just help us. Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So,
But that was cool. She took us out to Grand Island, which is like a 35-mile square or round island
yeah.
just north of Munising. 5 minutes?
Yeah. That was your 5-minute warning.
Oh, okay. Well,
Wrap it up.
wrap it up. So, yeah, Grand Island was great when we went off-roading some more Eagles. Okay, well, let's hit on Grand Island real quick.
Okay.
We went to Grand Island. We started checking it out. It's just off Munising's coast.
It's awesome.
It's really good. And if you want to hear more about Grand Island, turn in for Volume 2, which is coming up next.
Yes. We're going to have to pause this because we've hit our hour mark, and, you know, some of you guys like to watch it on different platforms, so hour works. So, with that, stay tuned for
XPDN2 V2.
Yeah, what did you just spit out,
Yeah,
bro?
dude. I'm motivated today, boy.
We'll follow this up in the next episode. How about that? All right.
Hit the music.
And we're out. Dude.
You're listening to Off-Road Garage Podcast, and here are